Steiny and Guru now joined by Mark Willard and Dan Dibley. It is the crossover on 95.7 The Game. We'll get everybody else in here.
Yep.
Guru getting elbowed out. What's going on?
What happened?
You're not on the YouTube
No,
chat.
we got it. We got it. Grandy's on the case.
Well, I was too eager to give my boy Willard some love.
There's a no Cowboy fan allowed Zoom, apparently. You made me laugh today. I got to give it to you.
What did I say?
If you give somebody an actual out loud laugh as they're driving around, there's no better compliment. So I got to thank you for that.
What did I do?
No, because I think Steiny at one point, just you guys were talking about last night, and he goes, "Did you have a good time at the game?" And he goes, "No."
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
Nope. You didn't even hesitate. No.
But
no.
I told you guys what was imminent. And Dan Quinn, I can't second guess you, but I will here. Why would you have Parsons, your Lawrence Taylor or game wrecker, over Trent Williams so much of the game? And he did nothing. It wasn't just I didn't understand that from a schematic standpoint.
Yeah, they like to move him around a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
Over Trent wasn't working. Over McKivitz, not effective. Over the center in the A gap, not effective. I don't think it was going to matter. And by the time maybe you were going to make all the adjustments, you were down by 2 scores, then 3 scores. That thing was a wrap.
Yeah.
And I was giving you love for your video because I'm ready for the Brock Purdy. What else do you? Hey, I'm not saying where he's going, Canton, but give this. One guy went the other way, career may be over, or the timer is on deck, and the kid just showed the world that I can carve up for the second time. He didn't actually carve him the first time, but he won the game. Talking about Brock against Dallas. I just don't know what else you need to see.
Yeah, no, there's nothing
I
left.
just don't, man.
I thought both quarterbacks had an opportunity, and I don't even know how much they care about this, but they had an opportunity in a game like this to go sort of switch what they hear people say about them.
That cared.
Okay, and maybe. I'm sure they both do. But that's what that kind of a game, we talk a lot about who's got more pressure on them. And in the end, it's like it's week 5. And these guys face stuff like this all the time. So I didn't think anybody was going to crash and burn, but it was an opportunity for Dak to kind of slay his dragon. And it was an opportunity for Brock Purdy to finally get to a point where it's like, you're kind of out of ammo. And I heard what you said, Steiny, earlier about stop inventing these straw men who are out there. Like there is still that. I mean, Dan Orlovsky this morning said Mac Jones would be playing like Brock Purdy if he were a 49er.
Oh, Danny.
So there's still it's still out there to a degree being debated, but I think we've reached the point where if you are still trying to qualify what Brock Purdy's doing, you're the one whose eyes are jaded by something, or you're just a part of the lunatic fringe.
There's no way you can watch that game last night and not say, damn, Brock Purdy's pretty good.
Those are NFL throws.
Exactly.
Like
and
this
he's
is
put it right on the money.
There was Dink and Dunk had no tickets to that game.
I don't want to go there. I'm going downfield.
Yeah.
I'm going downfield.
They were both absent for that game last night. Those were NFL Pat, Josh, Joe, Justin throws repeatedly. So, and the supposed best defense in the league, I knew there was a question mark there, not whether they're still they're a good group. They're missing an elite corner.
And that has messed it. It's wrecked. No excuses. It's wrecked them from being elite.
Their 3 wins are against Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, and Mac Jones. You can't judge a defense on that. Those guys aren't moving the ball against anybody. So I still got questions about Dallas's defense.
The one thing I noticed, obviously we all did, is so last year in the divisional playoff game, Dak struggled, and Purdy had his least effective game. And how did each of them respond this year? Like Purdy was terrific. So Purdy quarterbacked the game against the Cowboys, who are a great defense. So there's not a number to be had there. And it just looked like the 49ers have figured out Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Right, and I think the best defense in the league was on the field, and it's the 49ers.
Wow.
And so Dallas is in a tough spot. They like to play physically, but the Niners were more physical. So there's a lot of hard hits in that game, but more and more it was 57-50 Dre Greenlaw laying the lumber. I love watching him play.
It's incredible, man. I was late to the
Yes.
party. Them two are incredible.
Yeah, and Fred
Ferocious.
Fred Warner plays. I mean, the word finesse is used as disrespect when it comes to football players or all athletes, but he plays so fast and so smart. His not buying the pump fake and getting the snack, the punch out to create that first
Do you
fumble.
know how many guys on the punch out would have said, "Oh, my couple other brethren got him. I'm cool. I'll just watch. He's going out of bounds." He ran like a hungry dog. Like that wasn't even your play.
And maybe it's your year when you punch that ball out, and
Oh, my
99
goodness.
times out of 100, that ball's going out of bounds.
How
Totally.
did-
Or at least hitting someone's leg
I mean-
while they're out of bounds. It was like the ball had eyes.
Yes.
It was like diving out of the way of guys' legs. And it's like, oh, whoop, the sideline's there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's like playing golf with Steiny, the rare time he hits in the trees. It's like, branch, trunk, middle of the fairway. There you have it. But I've watched that replay now probably 30 times, and I still
Incredible.
don't know how that ball.
That's,
because it
man.
bounced like 7 different times.
Seriously.
Still in. Oh, it's going out? No, still in.
But the football gods gave Dallas some love on the McCaffrey fumble, which
Sure.
I still. It wasn't somehow. I don't
Just
even know
took
if
it
it was
out of his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, just took it
I
from
said,
him.
"Oh
Snatched
my
it.
God, you're saying there's a." But the Niners' offensive line, they hit too. They run at the guy that's supposed to be the dude. Normally, we're afraid of him. We can't. They're running, and it was like a body punches in a boxing match. So when it's time to go after them, Parsons like they're worn down, man.
Yeah. Well,
it's
how
just
can you
incredible.
not be? Because, the Niners take, 6 minutes, march down, and they score, and then it's 3 and out. So you're the Dallas defense, and you just
Back out there.
You just got an orange slice and a little sip of Gatorade, and you're back out there, like you're saying, Goo, knowing that the Niners are going to run it, and the fullback's going to hit you, the tight end's going to hit you, 71's coming out, and he's going to hit you. The Niners run it with such a physicality that it takes the life out of the defense.
They're good everywhere.
Oh, there you go.
They're good everywhere.
On the sideline, too, with the coach, with the headset.
Here's what one of the things that really grabbed my attention after the game, and it's not going to sound new, but it caught me yesterday when Purdy, and I've heard you guys play it a couple times, when Purdy's talking about how there's no egos here, and I've never had a receiver come up to me and tell me, hey, I'm open, and I need the ball, and I started going, man, look around the league at some of the teams that are going to be competing with the 49ers as we go here. And I know they've had a tough start, but Jamar Chase won everybody your fantasy leagues yesterday, but he's tweeting out a picture of 7-Eleven after the game because he's always open, and he had that thing. And that's great. It's like it's entertaining, and he's not wrong, but A.J. Brown is screaming at Jalen
Justin
Hurts.
Jefferson.
Stephon Diggs.
Keep going,
And
man.
so you go team by team, even the good ones.
CD Lamb about to
The
explode.
receivers are screaming at the quarterback. Meantime, Instagram scrubber Debo Samuel a year later is like, I better get in shape. And I've got 2 weeks where what did he have? Like last week, nothing.
Yeah.
This week, couple catches, 3 catches.
Yeah, a few carries.
And nobody says bleep.
Man.
That's why they're the best team in the
And
NFL.
if you don't think that helps a quarterback,
Oh,
come on, man.
Especially a young one.
Well, it helps everybody, and then you realize that your backup running back, not the one who's hurt, but the undrafted kid, is legit. He probably starts for half the teams in this
Man.
league, and he's an absolute battering ram. And
can play.
nobody drafted him, so you just signed him, and now he's your backup, and he's a great change of pace. Just the top to bottom roster is unbelievable.
I mean, the 49ers handled the Cowboys, no doubt about it. But every Sunday I'm amazed at how one play can really impact the game. Like, did you see the
Which one are you thinking about
well,
last night?
I'll tell you that. And I'm not putting it in the same category because they did get blown out. But did you see the Ravens-Steelers game?
Yes.
Ravens are up 10-3, and Lamar Jackson hits a guy for a touchdown. It's right in his hands. He's gotten everybody beat. Right there. He drops it.
Yeah.
10-3, it stays.
That was Zay Flowers.
Ball game.
Yeah.
If it's 17-3, the game's over.
He had a
Pittsburgh
couple of
can't
them.
score.
Well, go back to, you know what, for the
He had a
Niners
bunch of
season,
them.
the Niners season, yeah, he did.
That's my quarterback.
He had a rough
My
game.
fantasy
That's
receiver.
my
Oh,
fantasy
my God.
quarterback.
He had a rough one.
Catch the ball.
No, if you're going to point to that, the Niners this year, and I forget which Rams receiver it was, but early second half, right off the hands.
Oh, yeah.
Pops up. and
Williams.
It changed the game. Yeah.
Running
Kyron
back,
Williams.
yeah.
I don't know if the Rams win the game. Probably
But that
not.
changes everything,
But,
man.
I put it this way. I know Rams fans think it did.
Well, I don't know.
Plenty of-
Last night, this didn't change the game, but if you're watching it and you're saying, once 14-7, Cowboys score, 3rd and 4, and then the Cowboys get the helmet to helmet,
On
and then
Christian.
the taunting,
Yes.
On an
first
incomplete
down.
pass.
It's like, I get it.
It was
You're not going to win
definitely
the
a
game.
penalty. It was definitely
Oh, yeah,
a
I know.
penalty.
But what I'm
Letter
saying
of
is
the law.
if you get to stop there, now you're only down 1 score, you get the ball back. Instead, it's 21-7. It's night-night.
That is a reflection of coaching, and this is why your guy might be in some trouble. Opening snap of
he
the
ain't my
game,
guy.
the Cowboys commit a penalty.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, 3rd down, it's a clear cut, helmet to helmet, that's 15, and you're going to taunt on top of it. And I know you only accepted one of the penalties, but that shows a grotesque lack of discipline and awareness right there in a spot like Steiny said.
And led the
where-
league last year in flags.
20 on the first drive of the 49ers, Cowboys gave them 20 yards in penalties. The very first drive. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit.
Yeah, one thing I really want to point out there is I thought that what Kyle Shanahan would do. Someone asked me earlier in the week, they're like, how do you see Kyle Shanahan sort of attacking this defense? And I said, look, I'm not an offensive coordinator, but I bet there'll be a few plays where Kyle uses Dallas's aggressiveness against them. And the larger view of that point is I do think Dallas came in with too much emotion in the game. The 49ers last week, all week, are like, yeah, Sunday night. Right.
They need it.
We're chilling. Absolutely chilling. And then the play where it really caught my attention where I'm like, oh, Dallas is not, they're not here mentally, was the 49ers committed a penalty, or maybe they lost yardage on a McCaffrey run. I think it's 2nd and 12. They're just around midfield. And they ran that screen pass to McCaffrey.
First down.
All 5 defensive linemen bit. They all chase Purdy. And Purdy's like,
On the screen.
boom!
Yeah.
And Christian turned around. He's like, which way do I want to go? And
he ended up running into the back of Burford.
I know. He's like, I got to pick a Niner to run into because there's no Cowboys out here.
It's amazing,
and it's like,
man.
if you're a football player, on 2nd and long, that a screen pass, like, don't
draws and screens.
Don't bite, draws and screens. And they all left. And I'm like, there it is. You use Dallas's aggressiveness against them.
And also on the little Husker Du flea flicker where it's Christian to Debo back to Brock, that was them totally playing into Dallas's need to stop the run. So you do a little hand jive with the football. They all come up and you sneak George down the field. Boom. Easy play.
You see, Detroit ran the exact same play yesterday. And same house call.
And I want to say it
the
was
end of that play.
I
Everyone's
thought it
gonna be
was your
ready
show
for it now.
but it was Bonte and Shasky. True story. Last week had a caller call and say he's waiting for Kyle to dial up the flea flicker, and then they went at it about had they seen it or not. And then Detroit did it earlier in the day. But my thing about athletes and talking is, and I told Steiny this, Draymond does his podcast, but 9 out of the 10 times Dre is going to hard foul you, get a tech. Emotionally, he's going to bring it. So when I look at Dre, I even say, you talk too much, but he backs it up. Micah has that podcast thing going, and there's been too much talk, and I kind of touched on it. But last night after the game, he threw and pointed the finger along with DeMarcus Lawrence, saying he didn't feel like the defense got blown out. He felt like, and he said as much, DeMarcus Lawrence, we were going out there after we stopped them right back. So he's saying it's kind of hard when we can't convert a 3rd and 4. And I said, I pointed my finger. That's it. That's where this team. Michael was like, we're still on their level. We didn't. No, you got to be quiet. And Lawrence Taylor, a.k.a. they calling you all this and that. You put up a goose egg. You can't. I know you're young, but you can't say. You were supposed to say we got our ass kicked. We going back to the lab. But to say we're as good as that unit, I said, oh, boy, this thing's off the track, McCarthy.
Brock was chilling last night. He dropped back and he was.
Could have shaved, brushed his teeth.
Parsons got him once.
Okay.
Well,
he got him.
You get hit in a football game,
Sure.
but largely, like when you watch that game, and there was one moment where they put Micah Parsons' graphic up on the screen, and it was about 26 plays and
0-0-1.
one pressure. So, yeah, there were a couple times where Brock was about to get hit, but I mean, that largely, if you just watch the game kind of casually, it did not feel like Brock was under any duress whatsoever.
He's got a way of making it seem like he's under less duress than he probably is.
It's probably true.
Yeah, he really is incredible at feeling where to go when the pocket changes. And that buys him 2 seconds, and that's where he's been terrific. And I get that. I guess that throw to Kittle in the end zone.
Beautiful.
Just right on the money. I mean, just
which one of the three are
the
you
one
talking
where
about?
He dropped back,
rolled to the right,
and then he stepped up and to the right.
The really deep one or the really, really deep one?
He was going to his right, and he hit him in the right.
Oh, that was the first one.
Back in the end zone.
That was the first one.
He had to get it over a defender's head, but he couldn't throw it too high to be out of bounds, and it was just right there.
They had a penalty, erased Ayuk, big gain. It was 3rd and 14.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Dallas, here you go. And Purdy throws it right over Van Der Esch's the middle. Like, dude, that was a perfect throw.
Those are NFL throws.
I was like, damn. 3rd and 14 converted, but he can't throw out. He got a rag arm.
Right.
I'm just like, this thing's out of control with it. He's earning everything you want to, whatever adjective you want to put in the positive Dibs. It's real right now until we see otherwise.
And that's why your video was, I think, pitch perfect last night, because it's a wrap and you have to stop. He did it on a national stage against America's team, and he racked up massive numbers in an absolute laugher of a blowout. Man. And it wasn't dink and dunk and watch the yak and McCaffrey rushes for $190. This was
wop,
the
wop.
babyface kid. Wop, wop. Exactly.
That's what it was.
Making 20-yard, 30-yard throws down the field to guys who, were schemed open, but he's delivering a beautiful ball, and they are just dominating people.
I'll just say it for everybody. We've got a timeout chair here in the studio for us, and if anybody says I need to see more, you have to sit in it.
How about small sample size?
You can want to see more. Yeah. That's
you will Sunday
fine.
in Cleveland,
No, that'll be interesting. Now that's the best defense in football.
I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park, but I feel like it is.
Well, I mean that's sort of like the ebb and flow of professional sports, right? Is like you win this one, and everyone goes, "Okay, we're done here. This team's unstoppable," and then you have to go on the road and play what is by numbers another very, very good defense and Myles Garrett and all that.
That's real.
And if the 49ers only score 20 points, 24 points or whatever, does it
Denzel in the back,
come back to earth? I don't know.
Secondary.
That's a different challenge this week. But yeah, man, the guy is obviously phenomenal.
Oh, look at the 408.
What's up?
What happened?
Is Brock the new baby-faced assassin?
I would give him a 2.
It is funny to watch.
He does look like he's about 16.
He's 23 only, but he looks at 18.
Hey, who was
his backpack was only on one shoulder yesterday. I was like,
he
is that
looks
your
like
new
he's
look?
going to class.
His backpack is all like.
Who's your guy who lined up off sides on a 3rd down?
Oh, curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that one again?
And it was a 3rd down stop.
Of course it was.
It's the lack of discipline.
He was McCarthy.
The lack of attention to detail, and he wasn't even in the neutral zone. He was in the backfield. I mean, that wasn't even like
watching it. Like, why would I do this to myself?
Dude, I'm watching the start of that play, and I'm like, this is offsides. This is
happened
offsides.
A couple times, Dibs. It wasn't just a one-off. Happened. Somebody else was off.
With the line
Parsons
of scrimmage camera, you couldn't even see the football.
Exactly.
It's a bad sign.
Exactly. And it was blocked out by his knee, and he was still leaning over. Oh,
attention to detail. My buddy Lo Neal would always talk about that as a reflection of coaching.
It's
and
big.
That's, when you open up the game with a 15-yard face mask because you don't have any control of your limbs, and you go ahead and you grab Christian in the face, that just shows you all you need to know.
And I'll say this, Kyle and the Niners, I believe top 3 in motion pre-snap, before the snap. That's the new era of football. Like, just put something on the defense's mind. Dallas it's like the Niners and Fred Warner and company knew what was coming. Like, there's no motion. It's just stale and old and outdated. Like, and you don't got Emmitt Smith or Larry Allen. So, I think that's how they tried to, we're going to run football. Pollard, I love him. He ain't that type. You guys are not the Niners.
You tell me, right? You follow that team more than I do. If I were a Dallas fan, I come out of that game way more worried about the offense than the defense.
Oh, it's in
the defense that everyone, this is the best defense in football. It's like, no, you got steamrolled by what might be the best offense in
and
football.
Arizona did it, but Diggs hurt.
Right.
Okay.
But on offense,
oh my gosh.
like Daniel Jones moved the ball better than Dak Prescott did.
So did Dobbs.
Matt Stafford definitely did. I mean,
That's scary.
Well, if I'm CeeDee Lamb, I'm rightfully angry because if they're able to take you away with Isaiah Oliver, no
And he's
disrespect,
hot. Yeah.
and okay, fine, you're being taken away. How about you get him the ball in other ways? Run a reverse or put him in the backfield and let him run it. Do
Our
something.
own Evan Giddings was in the Cowboy locker room. I can't name the reporter, and told the reporter F off because the reporter kept pressing on why you're not getting the ball. And he wanted to say it's because
CD told the reporter to F off.
So that lets you know he's about to snap because he knows what's really the problem. And I've been knowing this.
Like that team is going to say, I've seen all the quotes out loud of, no, we're on their level and we're this, we're that. We did it to ourselves. It's like, come on, man.
Really?
The lights go off at the end of the night and you all know what just happened. You're not close.
Again.
You're getting further away. Well, that's the problem.
And that's interesting because
further away.
Because we've got a team that was owned by the Niners, but beat them in the one big game in the playoffs. And that's the Rams.
Wow, man.
I cannot see the the 49ers, to me, have outclassed the Cowboys. Like, they have them on every level, it feels like. And so, I was saying to Guru, you never know. The Cowboys can lose, get week 5, and then beat them in the postseason. But it's tough to imagine that after watching the game last night.
He's going off of what the world saw last night.
Well, and Dak even already said, like, if we're probably going to have to go through them again, or we're probably going to have to do it here. Like, he already.
You may not make the offs. You got the Chargers this Monday night.
I think they probably will. But yeah, you're 5 games in, and you're already handing home field advantage.
Okay.
To the 49ers.
And so is your owner.
5 games in.
He handed the Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Niners, man. I'm envious, dude. You got this. It's incredible.
All right.
Well,
great night for the 49ers last night. They win 42-10. Guys, have a great show. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, boys.